All right, hello again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD, or Application and Website Development 1100 C# programming class, I've been creating a series of videos to help get people acclimated to the class. And in the last one, I went over part of Chapter 8, but I basically just wrote a program. So let's keep going in here. There's ways that you can loop through an array. I used a for loop, but there are other kinds of loops that you're going to see, such as a for each loop. The advantage of using a for each loop is brevity. So I don't know if I'll be able to add those to what I was working on. I don't want to waste a lot of time doing that, but let's see. I don't know if I can come in here and say this: for number in numbers. Okay. I don't know if it'll, it doesn't like that. So what was the for each? And I've got to say int, because it's got to know what kind. So that should be number, not numbers. So int for each, int number in numbers. Okay, seemed like that was okay. That would be number if that works. So this was putting the array in descending order. Let's just see if that still works. No. Index was out of bounds, so it doesn't like me doing that. I'm just going to go back and change it to where it was. There'll be other chances that we'll have that we can use this stuff. So, all right. But there is a for each loop that you can use to access each element in an array. A rectangular array. Technically, what we have here is an array of arrays. So this would look kind of like a spreadsheet, and it's rows by columns. So it would be 3 rows, row 0, row 1, and row 2, and 2 columns, column 0 and column 1. And that's what they're showing here. So a rectangular array uses 2 indexes. You can work with arrays with more than 2 dimensions, but it's very hard to do that because it's hard for people to work with arrays when they can't fathom what they look like. So when you are using a multi-dimensional array like this, you'll notice that to initialize it, we've got a for loop within a for loop. All right. And I've done this kind of thing before. I believe I did this for the, what I'm about to try to do, for the JavaScript class. But let's come in here and quickly, so let's add a new project. And it will be console app 4. So this will be console. We want a console app.NET Framework, C#, and this will be console app 4. Good, create. I'm not going to worry about putting this into different things. I'm going to create 3 variables in here: int hours, int minutes, int seconds. All right. For hours equal 0. Hours less than 24, hours plus plus. Okay, then I'm going to say for minutes equals 0. Minutes less than 60, minutes plus plus. And finally, I'm going to do another one for 4. And we're going to put seconds equal 0. Seconds less than 60. Seconds plus plus. Okay? Then all I want to do is I want to print each one of these. Okay? So I want to print here, and it's going to look a little funky. I could do some work on it to make it look better, but it'll be fine the way it is. So I'm going to say here, Let's make an output string. Plus hours dot to string. Okay. And I want to do the same thing with minutes and with seconds. So let's call this min. In fact, let's make this real small. So HRS, MIN, and SEC. Okay. So everywhere I've got hours, I've got to change it to HRS. Just so it'll show up a little better on the screen. So min, and then finally seconds. Min, there we got it. So let's see. Boy, you talk about doing one off the top of your head, though. Let's see if this works. It's meant to be a clock. Oops, well, I have to basically set it up so that's the one running, which it's not right now. So, console F4, set as startup project. And of course, when we're all done, we need our console dot read line. And I forgot to do one other thing in here. And that is console.writeLine output str and my semicolon here. And let's see if I made something or not. Okay, I'm doing a clock. I forgot the colons, but that's no biggie. Yeah, it looks like it worked. We don't need this. And let's see. We do need a colon after each one of these. In fact, let's not even do it there. Let's do it. Now, there's a better way to do it than this, but I just don't want to take the time to figure it out right now. Okay, so let's see. File, save all. Let's run it. And if I stop, you can see what's happening here. And if I start it up again, it's giving me a clock. And if necessary, it is putting in a leading 0 for the hours, the minutes, and the seconds. Okay? That wasn't the point. The point of showing you this was that when we ran this, we had a for loop within a for loop within a for loop. And that's the same kind of thing that you have to do when you are using arrays of multiple dimensions. All right, so it wasn't the greatest of examples to show you, but at least it made, hopefully at least it made a little bit of sense to you. So let me get back to my test project 5 and reset that as the startup project. Okay. All right. Yeah, there's a get length method, but that's fine. Let's see. So there's an array class. Now we've already kind of gone over this. I've shown you the length already, and I tried showing you the binary search, even though I screwed it up. All right. There's the sort method. There's binary search. So I should have looked right here. It works only on arrays whose elements are in ascending order. If it's not, you must use sort. Okay, that's correct. So what was it? Array.binary search, the array and what you're looking for. All right, so I did set it up correctly. That's good news. Now it used to be, back in the olden days, like in the 90s, when you wanted to copy an array, one array from another, or to another rather, you had to put it in a loop and copy it over an element by element. But now there's an array.copy that you can use to do that. All right. Now an array is a reference type, which means that when you refer to the array, you're referring to the address of where the array begins. So when you make changes to an array, typically not to just an element in an array, but if you pass an entire array into a function, then you are passing in the address. So any changes you make will be permanent changes. Okay, and that's a thing to really keep in mind. Some of the elements, okay, so here's something that returns an array. Okay, we're going to go over all these in class, so you don't have to worry about it. This null conditional operator is kind of a neat operator. Why? Because what it means when you use a null conditional, where is it? Right there. It means it's possible for something to return null. And if it returns null by default with an array, you're going to get a null reference error. But if you surround it with question marks like this, what it says is if you get null returned, all right, that's allowable. Don't make the program break. All right, other ways to refer to array elements. We're going to have to do a bunch of this, so we'll take the program that we have and try to pretty it up and make it nicer. But notice that you can work with pieces of an array. That's kind of neat. All right, there's index and range types that you can use. There's list patterns. All right. Most of this stuff is new. I've used very little of it, but we're going to look at all of it in class. All right, and the rest of the chapter here talks about collections. And it says, like an array, a collection can hold one or more elements. But unlike a JavaScript array, an array in C# cannot change its size once you create it. If you need to change its size, you'll want to work not with an array, but with a collection. Because collections, you can add to them. Now, the reason this is important, especially, is this list right here, because you're going to end up working with array lists and lists in other classes, especially in the AWD 1115 class that you'll take in your 4th semester. So it's important that you at least see this. But what that can do is you can sit there and you can add things to a list, remove things from a list. so it can be resized. The sorted list is the same thing, but you can sort it. A queue, all right, allows you to add and remove elements, but it's like a line, Line. It's like if I had a line of people waiting to get in to buy a ticket for something. The first person in line would be the first person served. So the first in would be the first out, also known as FIFO. First in, first out, FIFO. A stack is the opposite. The last in is the first out, so it's LIFO. Okay. All right. Now they talk in here about typed collections. I don't want to get into this too much, but again, you'll see how you can add things. All right, and you'll be able to remove things. We will talk about this when the time comes. I don't want to really talk real much more about this chapter because I think what's going to happen is if you watch it, you're going to say, this is so confusing, I'll never get it. That isn't true. You will. All right, so I'm just going to skip a bunch of this stuff in here. I've given you some examples, all right, of what we're working with arrays. Okay, so I'm just going to stop it right there. And I want to see if I can fix before we go on to do the dates and strings, etc. I want to see if I can fix this array program. So let me look, because the only thing that's not working in here right now, if you haven't seen it, so if I run this, all right, and I make a new array, there it is. Notice 0 looks like my smallest number, and 100 is my largest. So ascending, there's 0, there's 100. Descending, there's 100, there's 0. The smallest is 0. The largest is 100. The sum of all 25 of these is 1196 or something like that. 1199. The average of those is 47.96. I can clear, etc. The only one that we're still working on is the search. So if I come in here and I say, okay, what I want is the number 31 in here. And it says it was found at index 10. So let's see. 31. 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Looks like it's working. All right, which is fantastic. All right, so this was very short. We've only been going for less than 20 minutes here, but I wanted to finish this up and let you know that even though it seems like, man, you skipped over a lot of the chapter, I did, but we're going to do it in class. I wanted to do something like this because I thought it would help you to at least get a beginning understanding of what we're going to be talking about. So I'm going to clear and I'm going to exit, yes. And for now, at least, I'm finished. I'm going to pick it up with Chapter 9 shortly.